welcome to everyone joining us today for the special fireside chat at Distributed SQL Summit Asia. I'm really excited for this session, uh, Rakuten Cloud Native and AI Journey with Yugabyte. It's been an absolute pleasure to be joined by Sachin, who leads the AI and data at Rakuten Mobile. Sachin has been a driving force behind Rakuten Mobile's transformation. Before we dive in, probably I'll get him to introduce himself and share a bit about his role at and focus at Rakuten. Sachin,
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Vish, for this invitation. It's been a really pleasure to join this conversation and really excited to share the Rakuten journey towards cloud innovation that we've deployed and how we make AI for our operations and how Yugabyte has helped us in transforming this journey for us at scale, right? I look forward to diving more details. I head the AI and data division in Rakuten, almost spent 3 years and yeah, look forward to the conversation. Thank you so much.
awesome, awesome. So again, maybe a little bit of context to everyone for those in the audience who may be newer to Rakuten Mobile story per se. Let me set a context before we dive into the discussion. So Rakuten Mobile is widely recognized as a disruptor in the global telecom space. In just few years, they've built one of the world's first fully cloud native mobile networks, completely software defined, highly automated, designed from ground up to be data driven and AI native, right? Behind this, the ambition, bold ambition that Rakuten Mobile had is to transform the telecom industry by applying the principles of modern cloud native architecture at petabyte scale. And this is just not about a talk, right? I mean, Rakuten Mobile is now managing petabytes of data and powering everything from network operations to customer experience with real-time insights and AI-driven automation. So Yugabyte has been privileged to partner with Rakuten over the past 4 years. And just last week, there was an official press release about some of the key outcomes that we have achieved. Together, we are enabling Rakuten to run mission critical multi-tenant workloads on Yugabyte, helping them to scale effortlessly across multi-regions, zero downtime, complete developer productivity, right? So this is kind of true example of what's possible when cloud native design meets AI-led innovation. So with that, I'd like to kickstart the conversation. Sachin, Rakuten has been using Yugabyte for more than 4 years. Maybe if you could provide some context around what originally led Rakuten to adopt distributed SQL, and can you provide some context around some of the pain points within the legacy stack, and why did Yugabyte capture Rakuten's attention?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I think just for the audience understanding, Rakuten Mobile rolled out its first cloud native open RAN architecture in Japan. Now we are the first operator who had an open RAN grounds up as a greenfield deployment that we've carried out. And all of the software stack that we use is all in-house largely, and we have deployed our own open RAN software. We have deployed our own OSS applications, and behind the scenes we use Yugabyte, who helped us in achieving what we were struggling with, the traditional monolithic architecture, I should call it. So the entire OSS application is a combination of the whole matrices, performance management, planning of radio sites, fault management, orchestration of the radio network, and the entire AI platform that we have deployed. Now, this is not just a technical overhaul that I should call it. It's actually a strategic initiative that we've taken to deliver the faster deployment, lower down on the capex, and focus on the something which is more critical from a customer experience perspective. So we were actually initially running on a traditional Hadoop based deployment where they were actually inadequate to meet our requirement with respect to the consistency performance. And our goal was largely focused across three pillars in terms of how do we build the performance and a scalable system, how do we make it more resilient, and how do we have a distributed state across, because Japan is a country which is more prone to the natural disaster. So it was very imperative for us to build a system which can continue to provide a high availability service should any natural calamity struck here, right? And Yugabyte came as a point wherein they offered to meet all of the stuff. So our first technical deployment architecture was that we want to make it everything cloud native, running it on a Kubernetes, on a traditional standardized infrastructure that we have deployed. And all our infrastructure is running on a commodity servers and running on a traditional Kubernetes, which is a Robin platform that we use it. And Hadoop was a bare metal stuff. So we were looking for something which can run on a cloud native Kubernetes clusters. I think Yugabyte came in and they were cloud native, they were distributed, they were scalable, and they helped us to meet and merge the both from a I should call it a relational database perspective to a NoSQL database perspective. I think that's the key that we started off with. And I'm going to talk more details as we move forward, but it's an amazing journey that we've had. We run billions of transactions every day and we inject it. And this becomes the underlying platform for us to go and run all our analytics on top of the platform that we're running with. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Sachin, for the detailed answer or response. So, uh, probably you did talk earlier about some of the systems were running off of Hadoop, and kind of this brings to the next question, which is Yugabyte offers both a SQL API, which is Postgres compatible, and we also offer the NoSQL API, which is Cassandra compatible. I know Rakuten Mobile has been using both these APIs for your current apps. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about some of these apps and what exactly, how are these apps being, using these different APIs, and what are some of the use cases? If you could highlight, that will be really helpful for the audience.
Yeah, sure. So I think we use combination of a relational database apps like KYC that we perform for the onboarding of our customers, how the data is stored, uh, going from fraud detection on the BSS side of it until to the network, the forecaster application that we've deployed to plan the capacities and to detect of an AI use case on a sleeping cell. So all of it is requires a relational database kind of a state, which is needs an ACID compliant DB that we need to run with. Along with it, we also have a workload which comes from a matrices, the time series database, right? Which is logs and time series, all the data which comes from the cell sites has to store. So we don't run on two different separate deployment. We use Yugabyte and we use both these APIs. And what they offer, while there are two set of an APIs, one from a YSQL which is Postgres based, and one from a YCQL which is more Cassandra based. For an analytical workload, the backend is still common, right? So you don't run to have a two different infrastructure. So that helps us to optimize both into one single backend core, and that powers the applications which run with it. And this piece has been, I should say, music to the ears of the developer community, wherein they don't have to run across two different, they can continue to run with the Postgres based stuff while the backend is still the data. And what we get as an advantage, the backend all is a data in come into single place. So while traditional telcos have different islands of a data, we have a single data lake, and that is powered, and that whole analytics which is carried on top of it is a seamless stuff that we run with.
Awesome. That's good to hear, Sachin. And maybe more on that, you did talk about some of these apps, right? Maybe from a business, given your teams are responsible more from onboarding the apps to even making sure that the day two part is taken care. Maybe if you could touch a little bit more around where did Yugabyte kind of really prove value more from a business perspective as well as more from the operational aspects of it.
So yeah, so think of it like I talked of KYC as an application which is mission critical. It cannot go down because the acquisition happens round the day, 24 hours actually, right? From the web, we are actually essentially a web channel first. We have a little shop. Now we are focusing on the shop as well. our majority of an acquisition is a web-based channel, which can happen throughout day and night. So you need a highly available, resilient infrastructure. So KYC application, which is hosted and it is distributed across 3 sites. So that is one area that we use it for. But at the same time, you look at the other workload that we are coming on the matrices, logs, to monitor the network health, KPIs that comes through. That also comes all throughout the day. But those have a distinct characteristics that we need to run with. Now, using this Yugabyte architecture, which is sharding across multiple pods and multiple sites, and then managing the consistency across those 3 sites. So we've deployed Yugabyte across 3 data centers, one in Tokyo, one in Osaka, one in Kobe, and all these run in parallel. So that means they're all active. If any point in time, if one pod goes down, one node goes down, one cluster goes down, there's no impact on running services. It is always available. So I think that's the whole geo redundancy and high availability that we are talking of. Secondly, because this is cloud native, it runs on a traditional bare metal servers, and bare metal that helps us to orchestrate. So you can understand that Kubernetes principle is anything that goes down, it comes in a matter of few seconds itself. So that helps us to design the whole stuff in a manner that any interruption happens, there's no impact on the service levels that we are running with. So it helps us to give a high level of a service quality. Now, third, the visibility that we get when we run these infrastructure, the tools and the insights which Yugabyte has in terms of a Yugaware and everything, Grafana and all those matrices that helps us to monitor these services all throughout the day. So I think that's what is something which is very unique, and I don't think currently what we have looked across the ecosystem and the available solutions, anything that comes closer to what Yugabyte offers to us.
Great, Sachin. Maybe on that note, one last thing before we kind of move into the cultural part of, like, what were some of the challenges? Maybe one question there is, maybe can you walk us through the data journey, like creation of data from all the way from edge to how, you gain insights from that data. Maybe if you could provide some context there, given Yugabyte is a distributed SQL and powering all these transaction workloads and all, right? So starting from the way how data gets generated to all the way to how business gain insights from this, maybe can you walk through that journey?
Yeah, sure. So I think if you go and look at from a telco journey of a data, it starts from where the generation point sits on the edge, from the radio sites. We've got 300,000 radio sites deployed, maybe 350,000 because we are adding every day a few hundred sites, right? Maybe those sites generate a lot of data, matrices on network, quality, performance, congestion, experience. All of this data is streamed into a Kafka based pipeline, and through where it is being ingested into the Yugabyte where we store and run the analytics. Now, the analytics has got 3 connotations attached to it. There's a connotation from a network quality perspective, how the network quality is being perceived at the customer. Second connotation comes from an operations perspective, how well my services are being monitored and we are able to deliver. And third comes from a customer experience perspective, what customer sees and receives the services. All of these requires a very complex algorithm of machine learning, which we have deployed it. And those requires the data in runtime. Think of it, if some cell goes down, and your ability to identify the impact in a matter of minutes and take a remedial action to compensate those users. This is something we're talking of sleeping cell. This has been a problem for the entire industry. Cell is operations, doesn't serve the traffic. How do you detect those sleeping cell state? And we are talking of 300, 400,000 cells which are running. So the way to run those machine learning algorithm and the data, and you require a faster data. If the data comes and you are able to process it and ingest it after 30 minutes, that means the service impact is cost to the experience. So we are able to make those journey and use Yugabyte because it ingest faster. We are able to ingest, I can tell you in a matter of 5 minutes, close to 12 million records are ingested into the DB in a matter of 5 minutes I'm talking of, right? And these being analyzed in runtime to identify the potential failures and an impact. So I think that's the data journey that we started off. So like I said, there are 3 connotations: network, customer, and the operational aspect of it. All of it helps us to run those tools and machine learning algorithms to identify the impact and take a corrective action in runtime actually.
Understood. That's great to hear, Sachin. Maybe switching gears a little bit around the cultural and technical hurdles. I mean, change is always something that there's a lot of resistance that come in, and obviously, as part of the whole change comes a lot of issues and things like that. So maybe if you could touch on that journey around what are some of the cultural and technical hurdles that your teams faced moving into Yugabyte, and what kind of outcomes did Yugabyte drove? You did touch earlier on active at any given time, having one of the availability zone going down, or one of the node or one of the pod at multiple levels. If there is a failure, the database is still highly operational and continue to serve the client requests. And I think we kind of did do a major infrastructure upgrade a couple of months ago, where we were able to do. Maybe if you could talk about a little bit around the cultural and technical hurdles and how team sees it right now, and what is the outcomes that Yugabyte delivered.
Yeah, so I think transitioning from a traditional monolithic architecture to a distributed architecture requires some bit of a redesigning and re-architecting the stuff, right? So the teams have to be trained on. I think this is where Yugabyte teams came and helped us to train those people, had a workshop, explain the stuff. Now the beauty here is, since it is Postgres compliant, so there's not too much of a change that we're talking of. Since it is a Cassandra compliant, there's no new learning that has to come through.
Yep.
Piece of a heavy lifting is taken care by the Yugabyte itself. You
Yep.
rightly mentioned actually, Vish. We upgraded the entire infrastructure from a cluster perspective, which is we upgraded the entire platform layer, which was running on a Robin, from a one version to the newer version. Now this, because it is running across three sites, we were able to do the concurrent upgrade of the platform. Now, yes, it was not an easy journey. We were running multiple universe across multiple sites. We had to interact with your team and the product engineering to give us some of the capabilities to stop a workload on some, stop the replication, drain out the node and the cluster, and then work on. I think the team came as very, very proactive to make those adjustments and changes. Some of them require some bit of a reworking at your product level itself. That all helped us to seamlessly migrate. Trust me, this was a zero downtime. We upgraded this cluster over 30 days time, because the whole drain out, we need to vacate petabytes of a data from one site to another site. We never compromise on the resiliency factor. We were always running with more than 3 RF, right? So that helped us. The performance was not compromised. Availability was not compromised. Reliability of the system was intact. And then we upgraded. So think of it, it's changing the wheels of a tire on a running car which is running at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. So that we were able to perform. And I think this, you deploy any other architecture, if you don't have these inherent capabilities in the product itself, it's very difficult. You will cause a downtime actually. And we were able to achieve this piece with zero downtime. Thanks to you and your team who helped us tirelessly across the days and weeks. I know it is months of an effort of planning has gone into, but I think the end outcome is beautiful.
No, likewise, Sachin, thank you for all the support that we've gotten from Rakuten team. Your team has been phenomenal. We did a lot of joint collaboration in terms of brainstorming, looking at specifically your needs and trying to see how engineering could actually help build or address those needs. I think it goes both ways, and thank you for your team as
One,
well.
one piece I like to add, Vish. Now,
Yep.
see the outcome of this stuff, how it transpired into, and just so that everybody's audience understanding, we were running with some different encryption, AES 256-bit encryption, and we changed that encryption standard because we felt that was not optimized because of the volume and the scale that we were running with. We changed that encryption. And this change of an encryption as well came along with the platform upgrade. And what was an output? The performance, the read write operations were 200% faster. than the previous state actually. So the better reads, the better writes, similar encryption, a different encryption standard for sure. But yes, the entire stuff went on. And all these we are changing the disk encryption on the fly. Two sites running a different encryption, one site running a different encryption. Again, this was a mammoth task for you guys, but then you guys helped us manage that piece. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Maybe one last question, Sachin. Maybe looking ahead, uh, which feature or capabilities of Yugabyte are you most excited about, more from a Rakuten perspective? I know you guys have been working with quite a number of other telcos, and even this whole OSS stack is being deployed across multiple customer sites and all. Maybe if you could talk a little bit about that journey as well as some of the capabilities that could potentially help within Rakuten and your customers, that will be helpful for the audience.
Yeah, so I think we are highly focused on making use of an AI. Now we are trying to build something called an SLM for telco, small language model for telco, right? Now, what we believe these capabilities of Gen AI, which Yugabyte is upcomingly developing and sharing in terms of the RAG piece specifically, the whole vector indexation, that capability, I think today is missing. So once that comes in, that will immensely help us to generate an action runtime. So we have an aspiration of building a self-healing autonomous network operations. That means things will break, nothing will go down, it's all agent assisted to start off, and then a fully automated steadily running. So we need a backend infrastructure, a component which can store all these use cases. So there's a learning from an incident, there's learning from a data, there's learning from the past stuff that we are running with. All of it coming together handy and taking an action in a near real time manner. I think that's the most key feature that I'm looking forward to. Once that comes in, we're going to deploy that stuff. And Yugabyte is not a, you know, you are a trusted partner. You're part of a strategic roadmap that we've created for Rakuten Mobile.
Thank you, Sachin. I think our co-founder earlier did announce the capabilities that we are rolling out, especially on the given we are Postgres compatible, really having that PG vector support within Yugabyte, where it becomes a unified platform where you can have all the transaction workloads and transactional piece supported within Yugabyte, and also having that AI powered or AI enabled capabilities around how do you store some of this unstructured data in a vector format. I think this is something that we as a team are extremely focused on, and there has been a lot of excitement within our customers to kind of get their hands onto this. Today, it is already available to use, but more from a production use, I think this is something that we are going to roll out in the coming months. With that, Sachin, thank you so much again for joining us today and sharing such a valuable insights into Rakuten Mobile's incredible journey, especially more on the cloud native and AI part. It's truly inspiring to see how Rakuten is pushing the boundaries of what's possible, from reimagining the whole telecom infrastructure at petascale and to embedding AI across every layer of operations and customer experience, right? So we are really honored to be part of this journey with you and the broader Rakuten team, and we look forward to continuing our partnership as we scale together, right? So to everyone in the audience, thank you again for being with us. We hope this conversation gave you a glimpse of what's the future of telecom and power of cloud native architecture when combined with data and AI at scale, right? So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you, Vish. I look forward to working with you and your team going forward. Thank you, audience.